Hey everybody, Tom Vasel here, and this is in my office rather than in the studio where I normally record, and that is because I just don't have time to set things up. I originally had this scheduled for 2. It is not 2, it's 3:30 actually, but that's because the truck showed up with all the games from the Dice Tower Retreat, so we unloaded them. So, yeah, it's not going to be great lighting in here unless I can and I apologize for that, but it is what it is. Q&A time. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the chat, and yeah, we'll just go from there. It's September. My birthday is 5 days away, next Sunday. All right, let's see what we got here with questions. Did I end up backing the Cosmere RPG? I did not. I didn't know if I wanted to back it because I'm not going to run it. The only reason I would have backed it would be to read the source books and stuff for the Cosmere. And I just don't know if I'm interested in that. I love Brandon Sanderson's universe. I like reading about it. I don't know that I want to play games in it. Maybe I'll change my mind. Happy Labor Day. Yes, happy Labor Day to you all too. And Successful Geek celebrates 7 months of membership. Mike wants to know what haunted house was your favorite. Well, you'll have to wait till Thursday because that is a topic of our board game smorgasbord top 3 then. How does it feel to have such dedicated fans? Well, very nice actually. It's very appreciative to have people who like the Dice Tower. I like that a lot. Alex says, hey kids, Tom, my kids are 3 years old. What kids games would you recommend to start with? Again, this is a question I really need to just make a recorded answer for. And the answer to that is the answer I always tell everybody is, I don't know. They're your kids. You got to figure it out. Every kid is different about everything. There are so many great kids games out there. And you just want to find kids games to play with them. Not to start to teach them how to play bigger and better games. There's lots of kids games. We review a lot of them. Look up kids games on Board Game Geek, watch the reviews, and find the ones that you think would work best with your kids. Has the bag giveaway happened yet? It has. If they haven't announced the winners yet, which may be possible, it may be because the winners have not all responded to their emails. So they always wait till they hear back from them. And if someone doesn't respond, they give them a certain amount of time, then they pick another winner. So that is probably what's happened there. Are you already looking forward to the spiel? No, I'm not. And will you be taking remaining promo cards from your previous Dice Tower Kickstarters? Yes, we will. Not that I don't want to go to spiel, it's just that right now I'm tired and I'll think about that later. Most played game at the retreat for me? I don't know if there was a most played game. I mean, I played some games multiple times. Probably Guardlings was the most played game for me there. Which is my all-time favorite game? Well, you got to go watch my top 100 games of all time to find that answer. What was my favorite experience at the retreat? Well, that I can tell you was a game of Cosmic Encounter that I ran. It was 7 players, and everybody was really into it. It was just fantastic. Some powers I haven't seen used in combinations before. We had the police handing out tickets to people. We had the nightmare giving bad dreams to people. We had antimatter. Who else was in that game? There was, oh man, I know that the nightmare was cheating up the wazoo legally, and no one caught him the whole game. It was just so much fun. Everyone was really into it. It played well, played fast. I believe 4 out of the 7 won. It was just a very entertaining game. That was my favorite thing that we did there. I just saw Omar Hernandez yesterday. Seems not too long ago. As far as I know, everyone got back safely. Like I said, we just unloaded the truck. Obviously, some people are still en route. I know Sam's flying back to Washington. Mike flying back to Indianapolis. So there's various people getting home. Working on holiday. Well, I mean, for me, Dice Tower Retreat was a lot of holiday stuff. And I don't mind. I'm going to get some days off in the future, so I don't mind coming and working today. Also, this is not particularly egregious to do a Q&A. What's your favorite game with a really big box? Very few, frankly. With a really big box. I don't know, because if it has a really big box, like I love Primal, which has a huge box, but I reduced the box size because it really annoys me on how big that box is. If Marvel United came out with a big box, I'd probably be like, wow. But I'm telling you, every time a game has a big box, I'm like, oh, this big box. Is Roy unloading the truck? Oh, no, the truck is unloaded. It is finished. Sarah says, hey, Tom, super random, but while you were discussing reading a book while taking a bath and not being able to without getting the book wet, keep a towel close by, dry your hands, and get back to reading. I don't know. I'm still like, I know you can keep a towel nearby and everything. The whole thing feels messy to me. It's like the same reason I don't like eating barbecue ribs. The whole thing's just a messy experience. And I'm worried I'm going to get water on my book, and it just happens. So I just read books everywhere, so I just don't read them in a bathtub. I don't have a bathtub right now anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You mentioned recently that there was a moratorium until you could publish a review. How does that process work? Are there only certain games that this applies to? Yeah, this is from the publishers themselves. Publishers will say there's an embargo date. You can't talk about the game till this time. Usually it's because there's an IP involved with the game. There's a game that's going to be, actually the game has already been announced, but vaguely. There's a game that I'm not allowed to talk about for a few more days. Technically, my opinions on it. A lot of movie people do this with reviews. You can't review the movie early unless they let you see it. It's not done a ton, and I'm glad it's not done a ton because it's confusing and a pain in the neck. And I don't think it serves any purpose to board game companies. I mean, obviously the purpose that a lot of them it serves to, if there's an IP, right, they have to wait till they get everything signed off. But a lot of them do it because they want it to go up on a specific date. That's what Jamie Stegmaier does, is he gives us out, and he says it's so that people have plenty of time to play it, which is sort of true, but we don't need months to play games. He wants them up in a very specific time to coincide with his pre-order. And that's why people want embargo dates. They want a bunch of reviews to go up at the same time. And then you get all that buzz. You're like, everyone's talking about this game. I don't think most companies need them. I've had some really weird ones. In fact, I have one right now, and it won't matter to you because this could be any one of 40 games. But the publisher told me, hey, there's an embargo till the end of this week, I think is when the embargo is, or next week. I forget when the embargo is. But I also backed the game, and I already have it. So how on earth are they expecting me to file an embargo on a game that people have already gotten in their hands? It's really weird. This happened a couple years ago with a fairly large publisher, and they emailed me and said, here's the embargo date for this game. And I said, wait a minute. The game was sold at Gen Con, and lots of people bought it. And they're talking about it online. Why can't I review it? It's already being talked about. They're like, we're just asking that you do this. And that gives me a bit of a sore spot because that's just unprofessional. To tell reviewers they can't review something when it's already out there. It's just an oddity. And again, I'm being very ambiguous on purpose. I'm not trying to throw any publisher under the bus in this regard. That's just some odd stuff. Do me and the crew plan to do any more role-playing campaigns? Well, we're going to keep going with the one that we're in now. Top 10 games about making bread, no uve allowed. Why would anyone watch that list? That's such a weird list to make. Was there any other Dice Tower crew in that Cosmic Encounter game? No, it's just a bunch of people that I put up a list and said sign up, and people signed up and played. After reviewing tons of games, how many of them do you still remember? Well, lots of them. There are many, many games that I remember. I probably give up a lot of other better memories I should be keeping, although there's a lot that I forget too, for sure. Thinking of picking up my father's work to play during the upcoming Halloween season. What's your current opinion of the game? I really like it. I think it's a fantastic game. Does it still hold up? Yes. Now realize it's a very long game. There's still some problems I have with it. I think there's too much writing and reading in it. Not everyone wants to sit and listen to paragraphs of story every other round. But it's fun. It's interesting. The app works really well. It's best with 2 players, but you also need to go in knowing you're going to play 2+ hours. Have you had a chance to play Clank Legacy 2 Darkest Magic? Yes. When should we expect a spoiler-free review? I don't know. We like to get it done, but the problem that we're running into is just getting it played. We've played twice now, and it's 12 games. So it could be a month or so before our review goes up. We'll work on it, but they're longer games too. Speaking of, my 5-year-old really likes Splinter Duel, Jaipur. He'll spend hours playing them by himself. Should I make an effort to show him kids' games or just show him more like them? I refuse to give advice on your kids and what you should do with the games for specific kids. I just refuse to do it. Do what's best, whatever you think is best. For me in my house, I play kids' games with kids and adult games with adults. And as the kid transforms to adult, I play various different transformative games with them. And that's how I do it. And all my kids have played different games at different ages. And some of them have played more advanced games at younger ages and some haven't. They're all different. Michael Harms wants to know which manual was the most annoying you read. I have no idea. People ask this all the time. Can you talk about the top 10 worst rule books? I don't know. I've read hundreds of terrible rule books. And then people say, okay, then do the top 10 best rule books. But you don't remember those. I would have to open up every game in the library to look at the rule books and go, oh yeah, that was a good rule book. Oh yeah, that was a bad rule book. Sometimes you remember them. It's just something I'm not going to do because the amount of work behind it would be a lot. Are there any game experiences from Dice Tower Retreat that stand out from you? Yes, I just mentioned the Cosmic Encounter game, and I played lots of really fun games. But I'm only going to mention the Cosmic Encounter game, and I'll tell you why. Because if I go farther into it than that, then if I played a game with somebody at the retreat and I don't mention theirs, they'll be like, well, I didn't make the top experiences. And that doesn't seem fun. So there's Cosmic Encounter, and then everything else was tied. Worst matchup against Tom Vasel on Dice Tower of any game? I don't understand this question. Why would I play Tom Vasel? Have you ever participated in and or won an eating contest? I don't think so, actually. I don't think I participated. The last time was that I can remember doing anything like this was in college, and my collegian, which is very similar to a fraternity, they did dumb games, and I always was like, these are dumb games, I don't care. Sat in the back and worked on homework. Okay, I'm kidding, I didn't work on homework, I read books or whatever. And the very last meeting of my senior year, I was like, you know what, I don't care anymore, I'll participate in the next game. And the next game was how fast could you eat a tablespoon of salt? So I did it. I ate it, chewed it up, done. I won. And then I paid for that the rest of the day. I could not believe how much that was terrible. I just kept drinking and drinking and drinking. I felt super dried out. And it didn't last long. I would say 4 or 5 hours, but that was awful. I would not do that again. But I don't think I've ever had a contest to see how much or how fast I could eat. I don't think I've ever done that. It's probably for the best. Board Game Bree says, embargoes for release games. Maybe they're waiting for a reprint to arrive. Not a great way to handle it, but a possible explanation. Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is they're saying you can't talk about it, but ordinary Joe Schmo can talk about it. And what's even weirder is if I did buy the game, then can I talk about my bought game rather than the review copy? It was just a weird way to do it. And it felt like one of those things, because this was not a particularly small company, it felt like one of those things where they were like, Yes, it doesn't make any sense, but this is the bureaucratic way we're doing it, so that's the way it's going to be done. So what did I think of ARX? Well, I've enjoyed it. I had planned to play another game of it at the retreat, and it just didn't happen. But we'll see. I'll mess with it some more before I give my final opinion. Joe Kim's Kirk says, I've had a couple years with no board games, no board game news. What's the first game I should look into? Ooh. Again, that's kind of up to you. I have no idea what games you like, don't like. Just look at like the top 10 games that came out over the course of the year. Watch the Dice Tower Awards. That's what I would do. See the games that were nominated for the different categories. Pick a category that you're interested in, like party games or whatever, and then look at those games. That's what I would recommend. What are your favorite monsters in Terrascape to play as? The Murderer a lot, and the Banshee. I'm trying to think of all the ones I played. I've not played all of them. I like most of them. I just don't like the Butcher, the main one. What's your favorite Flying Frog game? I haven't played enough of them really to give a favorite one. Have you played Blood on the Clock Tower? I have not. What's your favorite social deduction game right now? I don't know off the top of my head, honestly. It's a genre that is not one that I particularly love. So I don't know one off the top of my head. Jim Jacob says, when a game has a vague rule, do you tend to do a house rule to make it clearer? Sure, we just kind of pick the thing that's the best. What food would you ever want to eat in a contest? I would just pick something I thought was delicious. And then I would just eat it and enjoy it. And then they'd be like, you lost. And I'd be like, I don't think so. I just won. It was great food. How many custom Magical Athlete characters do you own? I don't know, 60, 70. Which one is your favorite? Probably Frankenstein. Ken asked a question about Taylor Swift, assuming I would know anything about it. So I cannot answer. Do you learn new games daily? Not daily, but pretty close. I'm always learning new games. It was funny because on Friday at the retreat, I played so many new games. I said, you know what? I'm done learning new games. And then Saturday I woke up and I said, I want to learn a new game. So go figure. What would be your top suggestions for contract fulfillment mechanism games? That is a mouthy way to explain games. I don't even know what that means. You're just saying this requires a red and a blue, and if you have them, you do it. Worker placement or a game that hits both? I don't know. But for worker placement, we've definitely done a top 10 on the Dice Tower. In 2008, you and Sam recommended Android. It even won a Dice Tower Award. It was probably for theming, if I would guess at it. It's a very clunky game in many other ways, but the theme was super strong. Some neat stuff in there. Do you think it should be reworked and reprinted? Probably not. It's ambitious. There's some neat things about it, but there's just too much. Are you still undefeated in QE? Yeah, no. No, I lost one game. Do you still have your mask collection? I do. Chad says, I started reading Mistborn and I'm loving the magic system. So unique without being boring. Magic 'cause magic. Which is your favorite power system? X-Men, Mutants, Avatar, I like the power system. Actually, I think it's Mistborn. I really do think it's Mistborn. I think I like it better than Brandon Sanderson's bigger series, The Way of Kings, but I like that series better. That's like the best series I've ever read in my life. But I like the Mistborn system better. Will the Dice Tower crew attend this year's Essen? Yes, we'll have a booth in Hall 3. We'll be announcing more stuff that we'll do at Essen very soon. With the Dice Tower Retreat having very limited space for attendees, and since the current people that attend can sign up first for next year, how many new faces would you say come each year? I don't know. I don't have those numbers, and even if I did, I don't think I would release them. I don't try to talk about the Dice Tower Retreat very much because, well, there's just not a lot of people who can come. And I don't know any way to fix that other than run more retreats. And if we ran more retreats, we would do less on the channel, which I know people don't want. So my response is, if you can't get in, consider the cruise. Come to Dice Tower East. Go to Dice Tower West. You say they're not as good or whatever, but they're also very good. We run them for a reason, and those there's always space for. If you had one chance to win a two-player board game where the prize was $1 million to win a two-player game, what? I think you're saying if I had a chance to win $1 million and it was in a two-player board game, what game would I pick? I don't know. I'd have to be tempted to just pick who rolls a higher die. Because no matter what the game is, if I lost because of bad playing, that would haunt me forever. And if I won, I don't know. I just don't think I'm particularly great at two-player games. So I would just probably pick, let's roll die, higher die wins. Any thoughts on coin games? I'm sure most of them are quite good. I've only played Root and other shorter ones. Have you watched Alien Romulus? I have not, and I have no plans to. What do you think of the Alien franchise? I'm sure lots of people love it. I don't care about it at all because it's scary, and I don't like scary. Yes, I know Aliens isn't as scary, and I know what happens in all these movies because excuse me, it gets into popular culture. I saw the trailer for Alien Romulus, and I was like, nah. I just don't like movies where there's creepy things killing everybody involved. Are you excited to cover Andromeda's Edge now that it's starting to get fulfilled? Maybe. I haven't got it yet, so no. I don't get really excited about any game until it shows up. I know rock isn't your biggest genre, but have you ever heard The Warning? I have not, so sorry. I'm going to play Star Trek Fleet Captains this Friday. Any advice? No? Have fun. Tom, will there be any other Dice Tower staff joining me at the CMON Expo in Bangkok? No, just me. I'll be going there on my own. Were you able to try any of the prototypes at the retreat? I won't answer that question, but I'll tell you this. I straight up, 99.999% of the time, won't play prototypes. I don't do it. I have a strong rule about it, and I won't play prototypes unless it's something that possibly I'm considering for Dice Tower Essential. That's my exception. I'm not saying it's bad to play prototypes. I'm glad people like it and have a great time doing it. It's just that I want to play games that are published, and I only have so much time in my life, and so it just makes my life easier to do it. Did you participate in any of the Game Nerds Day? I don't need any games, so no. Have you got a chance to play Pampero yet? Yes. Have I played it? No. I definitely had a chance to. I just haven't played it. When do you like randomness in a game because it's fun versus randomness making the game less fun? That is completely subjective, and it's just on a situational basis. Have I read the First Law trilogy? Not sure what that is. The blade itself, before there hang last arguments of kings. I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think so. I'm not. Epic fantasy thing at war. Logan Nine Fingers. Nope, I don't know. I've never read them. Sorry, it took me a while to figure that out, but I have not read them. How do I learn new games? By reading a rule book or watching other videos? By reading the rule book. The whole Dice Tower crew comes together for Dice Tower retreat. Do we have a business meeting? Final retreat. Well, we're already worked together in the same studio, so that's where we have our meetings. Is it too late to get a spoiler review of Ticket to Ride Legacy? Probably. I get why people like spoiler reviews, because you like reading about the things you did and you want a reviewer to talk about that. I'll have to remember that. We might do one for Clank Legacy. Hero Clicks or Hero Escape? Oh, I'm a Hero Escape guy. I have played very little Hero Clicks, frankly. Which month of the year is the most chill? April, probably. I think it's April. What are my favorite board game illustrators? Vincent Dutray. Straight up, he's my favorite. Andrew Bosley. There's lots I like, though. There's a lot. So I'm going to stop there. We might do our top 10. Maybe we already have artists. I've been trying to create my own board game YouTube channel, says Birds on Board. Any differences in the YouTube board game landscape nowadays for when we first started? Well, yes. There's thousands of different channels out there now. There's probably hundreds. There's probably 200 plus board game channels. That's very different than when I started. There was like 2. So obviously, more people means you have to be different and work hard to be noticed. Have I seen an expansion for Veil of Eternity? I have not. Do you need a passport for the Dice Tower cruise if you live in the USA? You don't need a passport, but you need a birth certificate, I think. You may not be able to get off at a certain port, depending if you don't have a passport. That's a question, though. You can email dicetowercruise@gmail.com, and they will let you know. I think, if it was me, I would get a passport. I think if you're going to, a passport is just a very useful thing to have. I think everyone should have them. They last 10 years. It's a pain in the neck to get it the first time, but once you get it, renewing it's a slight pain in the neck, but again, you only have to do it every 10 years. I've done it. I guess I got my first passport when I was 25 or 27 maybe. Wait, no, I couldn't have done that. When I went to Korea, I got a passport. I was 24 maybe, 24, 25. All I know is I've renewed it twice, in my 30s and in my 40s, and I will have to review it in my 50s, and then in my 60s. But that's it, because in my 70s, I won't be around. My favorite restaurant in Orlando is my favorite restaurant in the world, which is Ohana, which is on the Polynesian Resort at Disney. I love the atmosphere. I love the family-style dining, the all-you-can-eat shrimp. It's fantastic. That's easily my favorite restaurant. Also, my top 10 of restaurants would be Shady Maple Buffet in Blue Ball, Pennsylvania. No, is it? Yeah, Blue Ball, Pennsylvania. I also love the Bacalus Buffet in Las Vegas, but lest you think that I'm all about buffets. Also, my favorite restaurants ever, let's see, I really like the Fish House, Hobo's Cafe, and Lazy Lobster, all in Key Largo, are amazing. They would definitely be up there. They're all terrific. I like... Oh, St. Elmo's. I don't know why that took a while for me to remember. St. Elmo's in Indianapolis. Fantastic restaurant. I might do a top 20 restaurant sometime, but I'd have to sit down and think about all the ones I've been to. Am I going to upgrade to the new iPhone 16? Have they announced it yet? They just announced the event. The iPhone 16 launch event is September 9th. They're not really talking. There's this... These people saying the Apple 16 won't do much. I don't know. How the Apple's iPhone 16 Pro could change smartphones forever. Oh, okay. What is it going to do? AirPower spatial video. Blah, 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 blah. Don't care. We'll wait to see what the announcement is before we do anything else. Alrighty, so we'll upgrade to it. I don't plan to, but I might buy a new one for the studio camera since the Apple iPhone cameras are unbelievably good. Have you played Pauper's Ladder? Never heard of it. One of my favorite praise and worship songs at the moment. That's one I'd have to... I mean, Days of Elijah is always my favorite. But I don't know. I would have to sit and think about it for a while to get that list together. Because I'll hear one and I'll say to my wife, oh, I really like this one. You know, but I'd have to sit and look. I'd have to look at my Spotify playlist probably to see what else I like. Do I post my sermons anywhere? Well, if I do preach at First Baptist Church of Cutler Ridge, which is the church I attend to, you can go there and I guess look through their archives if you want to hear my sermons there. Do you think as a reviewer critic of board games as a profession that it robs you of some of the pure enjoyment of playing games? I don't think so. I love playing new games and I hate playing bad ones. Actually, I love playing bad ones, but I like to yell about how much I don't like the game. Tom, how big is your personal collection at home? Like 20 games? Of these games, do they get played much? Sometimes they're games for my family and kids. What do you enjoy the most? Playing a board game or learning and teaching one? Learning and teaching. I really do. Are you going to PAX Unplugged this year? I'm not. If not, have you been before? I have. Do you recommend it? If you're in the area, why not? It's a lot of fun there. When at a convention and if you are demoing a game, what are the best things a demonstrator can do to make sure a person enjoys the experience? I mean, you want to be very clear. This is how you win. This is what you're trying to do. Give some examples. Don't spend too much time talking about all the minutiae of the game. Honestly, as a demo of a game, I wouldn't do much more than the way of teaching it. If you ever come to a con and I'm working a booth somewhere, like I usually am at the All Play booth, I always demo games there. You could see how I teach a game. I always try to have a little bit of humor and fun with the games too. Do you ever miss or visit the Lehigh Valley area? Not really, because I no longer have family living there. I think my uncle still lives there. Maybe two of my uncles live there. All my grandparents have passed away. My father lives in Nebraska. My sister lives in Oregon. My other sister lives in Canada. My brother lives in Indiana. And my other brother lives in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. I don't really have any childhood friends that I've maintained contacts with. I don't really know anyone in Lehigh Valley, so there's really no reason for me to go back. other than maybe to drive around and be like, that's where I grew up. Those are my digs. And I've toyed with doing that, just an expensive trip to make to just do that. When Dice Tower YouTube channel was first getting off the ground, were there any channels you regarded as competition or inspiration? I didn't even think about competition at the time. To me, competition was the written reviews, my YouTube videos against written reviews. Inspiration, Scott Nicholson, I knew what he had done, so I liked his stuff. I liked that he wasn't afraid to be silly in his videos, which I liked. That was it, though. I honestly don't know if I saw any other video reviews before I started doing them. When I pull up to a Starbucks drive-thru, which I have never done in my entire life, but I've been to Starbucks before when I go out traveling, if there's one in my hotel. I don't go to them a lot, but if I do go to them, I want hot chocolate. Hot chocolate with caramel or hot chocolate with raspberry. Usually caramel. That's what I normally get in the morning to wake up. I also discovered this amazing drink. When we were on the cruise, I had free Starbucks. So I was like, done. And I drank what was it? A pineapple passion fruit with dried chunks of, it might have been like a passion fruit mango drink with dried, you know what, maybe I'll just pull up Starbucks menu and see what it's called. Of course, maybe it doesn't exist anymore. Starbucks menu, cold drinks. Not cold coffees. Yeah, there it is. It's a refresher one. Nope, not refresher. Although I do like, you know what? This summer when I was at Gen Con, I had that summer berry lemonade refresher thing, and I really, really, really like that. It's the pineapple passion fruit lemonade. I love that so much. I could drink that every day. It is amazing to me. I also like the mango dragon fruit and the strawberry acai lemonade. Those are fine, and the frozen stuff's fine, and the summer berry was very, very good. But the pineapple passion fruit lemonade is so delicious. I love it so much. But I almost never get it at Starbucks because it's a really expensive drink, and I don't go to Starbucks that often. Best spiral bound map book? I have no idea. I'm not picking one there. Who's my favorite superhero? It is not Spider-Man. Spider-Man is probably number 2 for me. My favorite superhero is Iceman. What game would you like to be seen made into an RPG? I don't care. None. I don't care one whit about that. I really don't. I like board games a lot. When they announce a board game is becoming an RPG, my first thought is usually, they're gonna waste resource they could be into making more board games into making an RPG. That's usually my thoughts on it. So I just don't care. I'll look at the Gloomhaven one when it comes out, but the other ones, like if you're like, wouldn't be needed this game in an RPG? I guess. Talk about a spread out family, says Kabuki Kid. No kidding. We haven't had a family reunion other than when my mother passed away. And that's not the best, family reunion. But, yeah, other than that, we're all over the place. Do you have any say what goes on Dice Tower Live TV when you're away? I'll tell Roy I want these things in it. Other than that, I let him pick what's in it. The very first couple ones, I went and picked the stuff, but I was also just kind of picking stuff at random. Where do you read comics? I usually read Marvel comics. I read on the Marvel Unlimited on my iPad because this is a great thing to read comics on. Why does that keep... For DC stuff, I just read whatever I can get on the library app, which name is avoiding me right now. What's it called? I don't remember what it's called. Hoopla. Sorry, Hoopla. Hoopla. You put in your library card and you can download and borrow books. So DC, I can't read DC comics, but I can read DC graphic novels. So that's about the same thing. Best thing I ate at the retreat. Well, you were there, Bruce. The best thing was that Mexican buffet. That was great. Fantastic. Are you doing a video review for River of Gold? That might actually be, I mean, the answer is yes. Starbucks wants to know my location now. But I might be doing it this week. Let me pull up my schedule. I haven't actually looked at my schedule for this week. Well, I know it's going up tomorrow. All right. Huh. Sorry, I'm having a hard time finding. No. Yes. Sunday. This coming Sunday. It's going up. So, I need to work on this. Okay. Well, I got stuff to do. Things to think about. Reviews to get together. I'll be reviewing Gardelings this week. Bomb Busters. River Valley Glassworks going up this week. So, yeah, got some stuff happening this week. And that is going to happen there. Cool. Sorry, you got me look at my schedule. And then that made me start doing that sort of thing. Have you played the new Iceman Marvel Champions character? No, I don't play Marvel Champions much at all. Any future collabs planned with other channels? Not at the moment, but, well, yeah, you'll have to wait and see. How's that? Which people in the Dice Tower Studios are daily coffee drinkers? Michael DeLisio and Joey Evans are the coffee drinkers that drink it daily. Well, probably Kenny. I think Kenny drinks coffee too. So that's 3. You were a fan of Freelancers when it came out. I am a fan of Freelancers. Are you looking forward to its next iteration with Wandering Galaxy? Mostly. I was very excited about it when I heard it, and I was super excited that I saw it at Gen Con, and my excitement has slightly waned because they told me there's a lot more game in it, and I was kind of happy with Freelancers with just being mostly story. So we'll see. As long as this game doesn't detract from the fun story, I'll be excited about it. Have you ever bought a game just because it's cheap? Yes. Have I done it in the last 15 years? No. Do I think the Awakened Realms Puerto Rico Special Edition will be as big of a success as Castles of Burgundy was? I don't think so, if only because Castles of Burgundy currently gets played more than Puerto Rico, as far as I can tell. Last concert you attended. Yes, I know it's not Taylor Swift. You don't listen to her. That's not what I said. I said I don't know anything about her. Last concert I attended, you were under the impression I've ever been to a concert. Anyway, if there's a classic game I would like to see get a redo, remake, what would it be, and or game franchise? Well, I mean, people ask us all the time. I mean, Justin's like, what games would he like? I like to see someone remake Fortress America in a much more compact, better way. Do I think they will add fun to Puerto Rico? Well, the fun's already there, so they don't need to add it, I suppose. Is Dice Tower Encore channel still alive? Oh, it took this long for someone to ask. No, I'm not deleting the channel because there's a lot of videos on it, so I'll leave it there. And those But I noticed that it wasn't growing particularly strongly, and the videos weren't getting tons of views. And so I was like, let's test it out. Let's post them on Dice Tower regular channel. They got 5 times the views. And so there you go. So they're just going to be on the regular channel from now on. Just got a PS5. Any suggestions for games or things to check out? I don't know. I play Elden Ring. I love Elden Ring. It's my favorite game. Skyrim is on the PS5 too. So these are the kind of games I like. So until I beat Elden Ring, which was exciting, I did not beat the DLC, although I got to the final boss, but I did not beat him. I'm going through Elden Ring now. I'm started over on the new game +1, where everything's a little bit harder, but you have all the stuff from the last one, so it feels pretty awesome. I'm going through that, and I'm just fooling around there for now, see where I'm going to end up. Trying to get, not 100%, but to get almost everything. So I'm having fun doing that. That's my current thing that I'm doing. So I didn't just talk a lot about Elden Ring. It's super fun. I love it. Because I never could get completely used to reading long-form anything on a digital screen. I don't know. I thought the same thing, too. I remember the first time someone showed me books on a Kindle, and I was like, psh, read a real book. But once I started reading on digital screens, it was so much fun. It was so easy to do. I like doing it. The dates on Dice Tower TV segments don't seem to match up with when the original video aired. You'll have to talk to Roy about that. He posts those. Do you want to travel more internationally? I like traveling internationally. I don't know if I want to do it more because it's a lot of work and there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Do any of your relatives ever come to your retreats or conventions? My daughter Melody has come. Of the rest of them, no. Oh, no, my father-in-law and mother-in-law came on the cruise. Not in 24, but in 23. And my brother-in-law, no. Did my brother-in-law come? I think he came. His kids came. My nieces came. So, there's that. And let's see. Joey Evans is trying to call me while I'm live. He obviously doesn't watch the Dice Tower. I will text him and say, I am live, fool. All right. Anyhow, Sam mentioned in his vlog, but how was the key lime pie eating contest at the retreat? It's not a key lime pie eating contest at all. It's just key lime pie. We buy key lime pies from the best key lime pie, Sweet Delights Bakery in Homestead, Florida. They are really the best ever. I'm not lying. I know we live near the Keys, and the Keys have amazing key lime. They're amazing. But Miss Debbie from Sweet Delights in Homestead is the best. We bring them in and everyone gets some slices of key lime pie. That's what it is. Did anyone run over to Horror Nights at Universal one time? The whole Dice Tower staff went to Hollywood Horror Nights last night. We went to all 10 of the haunted houses. We walked through all the scare zones. Some people rode the Mummy, and some people rode Rockets, whatever. And we got back at the studio. We got back to the hotel at like 12:30. That was group 1. Group 2 stayed out longer. I'm in group 1, which was the old people. So me and my wife were like, we're good. It was great. Fun time. Yesterday was my 5th most walked steps ever. Because we walked all day at the con, walked all day to help put things together and load the trucks and everything, and then went to the Hollywood Horror Nights. That was a lot of walking. I remember Tom talking about buying big collections of any games when he was in South Korea just to snatch up a collection and try a lot of games. Oh yeah, back then, my main thing when I first got into gaming, I was like, I want games. I would go to eBay and type board game lot. I would look for big board game lots and just buy a pile of games. I loved it. But yes, I do not do that anymore. If anyone from the Dice Tower from Tom's family is in chat or watching this, take him to a concert for his birthday next Sunday. I don't know. For next Sunday, yeah, you're right. My birthday on Sunday, I haven't really thought about it. See, my daughter, Violet, her birthday is the 5th. She's turning 18. Huh. Anyway, so, or is it 17? It's got to be 18. Could be 17. 16. Might be 17. I should know this information. It's probably 17. I'm going to go with 17. It's got to be 17. She's turning 17. She's a senior. Anyhow, so her birthday is priority. Anyway, that's the point. Her birthday is... And then on September 8th, I will probably... When is the 5th? 3rd, 4th, 5th. Thursday, anyway. I will probably, for my birthday, have them take me down to the Keys, and we'll eat down there. That's if they're back. We decided to drive both cars up to the Dice Tower retreat, and my wife's car just conked out, stopped working. So we found out it was the transmission. We took it to the shop in Orlando, and they want $5,000 to fix it. Also, it's in Orlando. So that has changed my life dramatically this year. For better or for worse, that's what it is. So we're a one-car family, which is fine. We also have access to the Dice Tower van if we need it. And we're going to get the car, hopefully, this coming Saturday or Friday or Saturday. We won't know till tomorrow because the repair shop is closed today. It's a holiday, which is fine. So, of course, that changes life in general. But so be it. I don't know why why am I talking about that? Oh, so going out for my birthday is, will that car be fixed type of thing. Would I be excited if Restoration Games pick up the old X-Men Alert game? Maybe. I don't think they will. Most number of views for a Dice Tower video in the past year, I don't even need to look it up. It's always the top 10 that me, Z, and Mike do of our 10 games of all time. That's probably number 1 and number 2 of the last few years would be 24 and 23. Or you can check out the new Space Marine game. I don't know anything about it. Baldur's Gate 2, says Kabuki Kid, for the PS5. That's a great one. But then she said, I meant 3. Yes. I like Baldur's Gate 3 a lot. There's some things I don't like about it. I don't like, for lack of a better word, I don't care about romance. And romance is a pretty low-key word. Lust would be probably a more word of how much I stuck in the game. You can ignore a chunk of it for the most part. I just don't care about that. Like, oh, you can romance any of the different people in your party or all of them. Okay. But how about we just go through? These stories are interesting. There's a lot of interesting things. They take the characters and do some really interesting things with it. So I like that aspect of it. Do you think the industry move of more green-friendly, eco-friendly printings is good overall or an excuse for some companies to deliver lower quality at a premium price point? Okay, well, I can't speak to people's motives at all. But there's two things that I'll say in this regard. One is, do what you can to make things replenishable. We can argue over that, but that's fine. I will say, though, that companies leave boxes on my porch. My porch gets rained on occasionally. And it hasn't happened yet, but one of these days, like I just had it when I came back today, 2 games were there that 2 boxes got soaked. The games were fine because they were shrink wrapped. Had they not been shrink wrapped, damage to games. I would not have been thrilled. Secondly, board games are not a consumable product. Why do I care if they're eco-friendly for the most part? Because at some point they'll get thrown away 50, 70, 100 years from now. I hope that's not what we're doing with games. I hope games aren't disposable, other than, I guess, legacy games or escape room games. But if a game's not disposable, then why do I care, is my question. And you say long-term, that's fine, I guess, but I just feel that to be kind of an oddity. If it's disposable stuff, if you're talking about plastic cups and plastic straws and plastic silverware and whatever, that you use them and then you chuck them. But I don't play a board game and go, that's it, that was fun, throw it away. Now, farther than that, the arguments obviously get very political, and even what I said, I'll probably get chewed out by some people online for saying what I said, but that's enough. All right. Let's see. Try making key lime pie, but it's hard to get key limes in Germany to say, at least. Well, sure, but that's the way it is anywhere. Every place has their dishes. In Florida, or at least South Florida where I am, one of them is key lime pie. How many hours a week do you put into the dice tower? I don't know. 55 to 75, probably. How heavily is your family into what you do? Well, my daughters work for me. They never had like a job outside. I don't have them work at McDonald's and all that. They work for me. So I'm not saying I love doing that. But they play games with me. Melody was probably the most involved since she did reviews and stuff, but everyone else seems to be okay. Have ever been to India? I have not. That'd be a neat place to go to. Favorite horror scary film? From Monsters, Inc. to It Follows. First of all, Monsters, Inc. is not a horror film, so my favorite horror film? I don't really like horror films. So I would guess The Others. Any thoughts on the Yokohama re-release? I've not gotten a copy of it, so I don't know. Hans Zimmer is playing in Hollywood, Florida on September 8th. Wait, really? I'm looking it up now. He's at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood. Wow, that's not Miami. I mean, that is, that's an hour and 10 minutes away. Woo! Tickets are $200 a pop, and that's the cheap seats. Also, I don't know that. My wife would want to go. Wow. And they're like really bad seats. They're like way to the top. You want some wow, these seats are $600? That's insane. I want to be really clear before anything goes farther. The fact that I'm talking about this, there's always the off chance someone will see it and be like, I will buy you those tickets. I am not asking for that. I don't want that. Don't do that. I'm not saying the high price of tickets to get, they're just, I would like to go see a composer play at some point in my life. Hans Zimmer's neat. I like him a lot. I don't like him as much as John Williams, although I doubt John Williams will be touring anytime soon. That's neat to see. Maybe I'll set one of those up in the future. Or I can find a cheaper way to get tickets and also plan, since, again, that's next Sunday, and for all I know, there's 2 other things going on. Also, I'd like to go back to the transmission of my car thing. You'll be at the bash on your birthday? Well, not be at the bash my birthday. The bash is not even this week. It's the week after my birthday. Do you have non-board gamers ask you about the van when you take it out for a drive and park it somewhere? Oh, yeah, a lot of people ask us, like, what is that? So we explain it. They're like, oh, that's cool. They think it looks neat. It's a very neat-looking van. Oh, you know what? It's 4:30. I apologize. There's still a lot of questions here. So I'm just going to say thank you all for watching. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Board Game Breakfast live in the morning. Z's doing What's Happening later on. Yeah, lots of cool things coming your way. I appreciate everybody sticking around and here. If you're having a holiday today, which is not everybody, but if you are, have a great holiday. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Q&A on the Dice Tower. Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, you would love to game with us at one of our conventions. Check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Vasel.